Uh,
Okay, this is the Richland County Commissioners Board meeting of April 23rd. I'm Darrell Banks, Commissioner, here with fellow Commissioners Cliff Mears, Tony Vero, our clerk Stacy Crawl, Administrator Andrew Keller, Josh Hicks, Superintendent of Maintenance, Matt Hill from IT is here. From the press, we have here with us today Greg Kale from WMFD and Carl from the Richland Source, and Al Lawrence from the News Journal is on with us. And gentlemen, why don't we start with you, Reverend E, and introduce all three of yourselves.
My name is Reverend L. Adams, yeah. 136 Dawson Avenue, Mansfield.
Oh, we don't need to know where you live, yes.
Benjamin Muty, that's in Tenino.
I'm Mark Foley from Erie County.
Erie County.
Yes, sir.
Wow, welcome. You like us better than the other commissioners up there. We don't like Matt Old very much.
Really?
Okay, well, Ben, why don't you tell us why you're here and make your presentation?
Benjamin Muty, I was here about Marijuana Awareness Month. And I'm gonna start off with this, I think. I want to keep my comments brief. We had April 20th this past weekend. That was the day that the Columbine shooting took place in Colorado. And I know for a reason, marijuana looks at April 20th as the marijuana day for a reason. So, however, this report from the U.S. Secret Service from 2019 was an analysis done. And it points out that they studied 35 different shootings that took place targeting schools. Within those 35, half of those were related to drug use. The people were tested positive with drug use. Going background with the drug use. And marijuana was the one drug that was the predominant drug of choice by these mass shooters. We started in a shooting that took place in 2012 involved a gentleman that was on marijuana. He had issues in prison getting access to marijuana. But if I were to send you, I don't want to talk about mass shootings this morning. It make you probably vomit your breakfast and make your head spin. However, whether you talk to Nicky Cruz from his mass shooting or whether it's the 2012 report from the Obama drug czar, who said that marijuana is most frequently the drug of choice for violent behavior of crime. And there's a ton of shootings. I can send you a study where it was done by a parents group on mass killings. And you'll see quite a few cases involving marijuana in the situation. So I can send that later to you. I don't want to dwell on that subject. It's very morbid. Having said that, since the legalization this past fall, we've been going to different places. I'm doing presentations on the problem of marijuana. I did mention criminal behavior, and we did have a dispensary that's looking to locate in Belleville, but there is opposition publicly to that. And so we took a look at their company, Standard Wellness. They have a dispensary in Sandusky, Ohio. We took a look at some of the crime data from Sandusky, the city of Sandusky. We did notice that in 2019, they started not reporting marijuana offenses. All right, so they're trying to cover their tracks, I understand. But what we did find, we took data from the State Police Department of Sandusky using their annual reports, and we did find that there was an increase in OVIs, operating vehicles while intoxicated. And so we have before the dispensary located in Sandusky in 2019 to current. And so we saw an increase, 194% increase in OVIs. Now, all these OVIs are not related to marijuana. They also include alcohol. Having said that, we've been looking at tracking Colorado very closely. In their annual reports that they have every year, they talk about how marijuana impairs judgment and that they see an uptick in risky behavior, which includes an increase in alcohol consumption. So whenever they legalized marijuana way back in the more than a decade ago, they saw a spike in alcohol consumption also going through the roof. And so having said that, marijuana does impair coordination and also decision-making. So we use this as an illustration of what Standard Wellness would bring to the Belleville area and Richland County area. I've been watching the county commissioner board meetings very closely. I know Mr. Sellers was here last time talking about road construction zones and road safety. And I missed him in Worthington for whatever reason. I think he was gone that night. We had tailored our presentation on road safety that night. But we did notice that in 2019, we set a record for accidents occurring in work construction zones. There were 1,600 injuries that occurred in 2019 statewide on work construction zones on the roads, and there were 16 deaths. So I thought maybe it's coincidence, I don't know. But in 2019 was the first year that marijuana dispensaries were in operation in Ohio. I don't have evidence that or analysis, but I just thought maybe that we could bring that up also. I know also in one of the presentations, I think before Mr. Sellers, the meeting before, we had Children's Services also do a presentation talking about young people and their exposure and access to cannabis, how they're seeing issues with children from foster homes and what have you that are testing positive for marijuana and other drugs. Now there's a concern. And it's my personal opinion that the commercial cannabis industry is part of a criminal operation. And I try to use the words of their own CEOs and other leaders of the industry. And there was Jared Maloof is CEO of Standard Wellness. He did do testimony in 2023 discussing Delta 8, Delta 8, excuse me. But Jared had stated that his industry is bottom line is about making profit, and I understand that for any commercial business. But what he does state is that the cannabis industry was struggling in Ohio, due in part to the black market. Obviously, the black market, you and I know that the black market, you don't have to pay taxes. It's the black market. It's a criminal operation, but you also don't have to go through the testing procedures. And so black market will always undersell commercial cannabis. And so he says, I admit that we do have operators that are selling their marijuana products to black market in droves. So he admits that. So I believe what he says in that situation. And if we were to look at Oregon, 70% of the market for cannabis was sold through the black market. We're seeing a transformation in Oregon because they're the ones that decriminalize all drugs, fentanyl, cocaine, you name it. And so then, however, once all the road safety issues came about and young people dying, then they decide to pass legislation. The governor just signed at the beginning of April, the last part of March, a new law criminalizing drugs again. And so they're seeing a turnaround there because of all the saturation of drugs and how it affects adversely young people. And so whenever you have products that the commercial cannabis industry sells, like Durban Poison, which is 60 or 70% THC, or Problem Child, which is 50% THC, or High Divorce Rate, hash, I think is what it's called. That's at 50, 60% THC. These products are adversely impacting young people's minds and even older adults. But the government's, there's a number of studies talking about the relationship between psychosis and young people using the cannabis. And so we don't want another shooting. We don't want another Columbine in our community, that's for sure. And one of the things that local jurisdictions can do is prohibit commercial cannabis. And that's the only tool we see right now presently. for local folks to make their decision on. I know one of the municipalities made sure that they're concerned about was the economic concerns. I can remember the mantra so many times from elected officials talking about we need a skilled workforce. We need a skilled workforce. So we had a big push to train our workforce and our young people so we can fill these positions to bring employers in. Well, the problem is whenever like the Chamber of Commerce state talks about how there's job absenteeism associated with commercial cannabis. There's also workplace accidents occurring. No manufacturer, no employer is going to want to move to a community that has lots of dispensaries because the workforce is going to be either not show up or they're liable for accidental issues. And so having said that, you're either going to move out of the area or you're going to go automated. So we don't want that, obviously. So I just wanted to bring that information to you. I want to thank you for all that the Commissioner Board does representing our county. We appreciate your leadership and thank you for the opportunity for allowing me the time to just share my concerns about this very critical issue, I believe, in these coming months.
Thank you. The proclamation or the board has prepared a proclamation, which I will read and then give to you. Proclamation is whereas the National Cannabis Awareness Month is observed in April to increase awareness and education about marijuana and marijuana use beginning in teenage years or younger may affect brain development and can impair thinking, memory, and learning. And in 2023 alone, the Richland County Children's Services Agency conducted 269 drug tests on minors with 41 teenagers testing positive for marijuana, along with as young as a few days old and up to, I believe it was 2 years that tremendous. There was a 51%, I think it was impaired or tested for it. Marijuana use affects reaction time, coordination, and concentration, which is associated with the impaired driving, and people who use marijuana may develop temporary psychosis, hallucinations, not knowing what is real, and paranoia, and long-lasting mental disorders, including schizophrenia. And the U.S. Centers for Disease Control define marijuana use disorder as the inability to stop using marijuana, and signs of marijuana use disorder include trying but failing to quit using marijuana or giving up important activities and friends and family in favor of using marijuana. And I had one question when we got to keep going, but one question was you showed a slide 194% more.
Yes,
That was in Colorado, right?
this was Sandusky, Ohio.
Okay. All right.
Sandusky.
John, you want to come over here, please? I'd like to present this proclamation and encourage you to keep up your work in fighting to this cannabis free.
Okay, thank you.
You're all appreciated. Thank you. Okay, we're going to move on to other. Oh, excuse me. Hang on a second. Carl, do you have any questions?
I guess the question we have for Marilyn and to you with the vote in November, when 57% of Ohioans voted to legalize cannabis, not only dispensaries that their communities allow, but also to grow and have the plants at home. What's the message you would send to those 57% of the voters that approved this?
7% voted to have local control. So you can, they voted in favor of local townships and municipalities, like prohibiting, restricting, or allowing.
57%. that you could grow your own and have it. So it's the message to those folks when I hear phrases like schizophrenia and things like.
Richland County voted against.
that. Go ahead.
Carl, you have anything?
No.
Al?
Yeah, a couple questions. Ben, it's been a while, excuse me, since I've seen a presentation of yours. Your last name is M-U-T-I?
It's a MUTTI,
Two T's.
two T.
And are you with an organization?
No, just a Richland County citizen. So in other words, I don't make any money on what I do. Jared Maloof does. So I'm not a lobbyist. I don't make any money for any industry. I am, you could also say I'm a father of 5 sons. 2 16-year-olds that are gonna be driving. So you could say I'm a concerned parent too.
Okay, I think that's all I hit. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Great.
I can talk to these guys. Keep the meeting going.
Okay. We'll move on to other, and can we get a certification of the record of proceedings for April the 18th?
Moved.
I think, well, think we might need to make some amendments or at least add some clarification to the minutes. First being the reference to the RIPL program. There's no definition of the ripple. I think it's important when first mentioning the RIPL that we noted as the Rural Industrial Park Loan Program. I also think it's important, and we discussed this at the meeting, where we talk about ARPA funds under tape 0.45.19, where it says, ARPA funds have to be committed by December 31st, 24 and must be spent by December 2026. We also discussed not just spent, but the projects need to be completed by December of 2026. So it's I think it's important to update the minutes to show that for clarification to anyone who reads it, and those will be my amendments.
Is that a motion with those changes?
Yes, please.
Then so moved with as amended.
Commissioner Banks,
Yes.
Commissioner Vero,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears.
Yes.
Okay. Can we approve the requisitions?
Second.
Banks,
Yes.
Yes.
Commissioner Mears,
Yes.
Okay. And can we authorize the hiring of 3 employees at Job and Family Services?
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Banks,
Yes.
Commissioner Vero, Commissioner Mears,
And can we authorize the termination of a Day Springs probationary employee?
Commissioner Banks,
Yes.
Commissioner Vero,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears.
Yes.
Okay, can we approve the annual payment of council fees for indigent criminal defendants, the city of Mansfield?
So moved.
Second.
Banks,
Yes.
Commissioner Vero,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears.
Yes.
Okay, and can we accept the quote from Pattern Metal Works for the outside stair railing? I believe that's on the east side, isn't it?
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Banks,
Yes.
Commissioner Vero,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears.
Yes.
And along with that, can we accept the quote from the Purdy Construction Company to outside stair repairs on the east side of the county administration building?
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Banks,
Yeah.
Vero,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears.
Okay. Approval for the contract with Harland/DBS Incorporated for 4 buildings. These are on roofs.
Roof work on 4 buildings. I also move to approve the design build contract.
Second.
Commissioner Banks.
Yes.
Commissioner Vero,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears.
Yes.
Can we authorize the dog warden to purchase a 2021 Chevy Equinox, $22,555, Buckeye Chrysler Jeep Dodge of Shelby?
So
So,
moved to come out of certified but unappropriated funds.
Commissioner Banks,
Yes.
Commissioner Vero,
Yes.
Okay. Can we authorize Children's Support Director to make an offer of employment?
so moved.
Second.
Commissioner Banks,
Yes.
Commissioner Vero,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears.
Yes,
And can we approve a notice of ARPA expenditures for Schmidt Security Pro for L2 project? Gentlemen, want to address that? It's for the controls.
Yes, the award speaks for itself. Schmidt Security is going to be providing and installing access control, burglary and video systems throughout the L2 floor. Reason it's a latecomer because when the original RFP was issued, there was still scope matters that needed to be finalized in our bid package. So this will be access control for L2 alongside of the rest of the building that's presently in contract.
motion to approve.
Second.
Commissioner Banks,
Yes.
Commissioner Vero,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears.
Yes,
You also need to approve their contract.
Okay,
They have a proposal.
yeah, we have a contract for them. Total $59,282.16.
Commissioner Banks,
Yes,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears.
yes.
okay.
I think we missed one. The overweight and overdimension, DJ Hughes.
5 years. Okay, yes, we have an overweight and overdimensional vehicle permit. And the vehicle is currently located at 2385 Cotter Road, Weller Township. And to the northwest on Cotter Road to Pravonia Road North. And it's leaving the county.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Banks,
Yes.
Commissioner Vero,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears.
Yes,
Okay, it is 9:52. Are you here because of,
Yeah, I would like to address.
please do.
Come on up.
My name's Mark Pauley. I didn't wanna, I came from Erie County. I'm not representing Erie.
Mark, how do I spell your last name?
Pauley, Paule.
And what's your address?
There, the business addresses. My business is Integrity Permits. And I'm actually here kind of in regards to the CJ Hughes permit that you just
oh,
approved. Just a little background, what my company does is we actually work with local jurisdictions to help them put a permitting procedure in place. Help them comply with the ORC as far as their obligations for issuing permits. We also work with private individuals and trucking companies. In this case, CJ Hughes has hired myself, I have a business partner, to get their permits for them so that they're in compliance with laws when they're moving their oversized, overweight equipment on roadways. I retired from Erie County about 9 years ago. I was a deputy there for 28 years. And I was their commercial enforcement deputy for the last 10 years that I was there. I retired and saw a need for, when I was working weighing trucks as a deputy, one of the things I came across from drivers that did not have a permit from the Erie County engineer was, I didn't know I needed one. I didn't know where to get it. We kind of removed some of those barriers when we started Integrity Permits, my partner and I, the idea was we want these companies to get not only their ODOT permits, which are, most of them get, but we want them to get their local permits. We removed a lot of the obstacles. They complained that it took too much time. They didn't know where to get them. The fees were issues in some cases. What I'm addressing you gentlemen this morning is, and maybe you can help me, what we're running into in Richland County is CJ Hughes will ask for a permit to move a piece of equipment sometimes that day, sometimes the next day. And we can't get the Richland County permit. Just for example, if they were to request a permit Thursday after your commission meeting's done and they wanted to move it Thursday or Friday or Saturday or Sunday or Monday, they couldn't do that because the issue has to be presented to the commissioners for approval before they can move that piece of equipment. That's very unusual. I'm not saying it's not done other places. I haven't seen it done other places. The other,
Do you have any statement on that? I mean, we would need to approve such. I mean, the law is pretty clear that we got to take formal action in open meeting, but
Our current rules do require the board to. But we're listening.
the other counties that I have dealt with, the commissioners have given the engineer the option to issue a permit on their behalf. Like I said, I'm not saying it's not done other places. I just have not run into it. And we submit a permit request to other,
you just happen to run into the county engineer right here. So maybe he has some thoughts or how some other counties handle that. We're listening. I mean,
I guess I'm not sure how other counties handle it, but like Andrew said, our current regulations require that the board act on those permits. We've been working with PC to try to get these out as quick as possible when they come in. But I guess we're just asking for planning some foresight into what's going to need to move. Or is there another permit that makes more sense? Is there a 90-day permit or a 30-day permit? Those are options under some of our permits, depending on what's being moved. So right now they're coming in as individual one-day permit, one-time permit.
Right.
There are some other options out there that we could look at for certain types of.
I would say smaller loads. They're
Correct,
not
yeah,
small, but some of them are.
We don't typically do
Right.
those continual permits, but.
But where we're looking at from our point of view is, I believe the county was made aware of, there's maybe 10 sites before the project started. And, you know, they know where these loads are going. And just like if we were to issue the county issued a permit for something going to Cotter Road, and we come back the next day and say they want to move something else to Cotter Road. The bridges, if there's a bridge, it's already been analyzed. From my perspective, why does the whole process have to go through and be approved by the commissioners again? When the engineer's office has already looked at that route, says it's good, can it not just be signed off on and sent back to us? That's when for most jurisdictions, we get them back within an hour to a couple hours, or maybe the next morning, but we almost never have to wait days to get them back. And we want them to get permits. This company, CJ Hughes, I'm so impressed with, because I've worked with a lot of companies that would just say, just get me the ODOT permit. And this company is very good about, I want permits from point A to point B, which sometimes means 5 or 6 permits, which is not unusual.
Well, Mr. Pauly, we want to be friendly.
Right,
People fixing
Yep.
our
sure.
infrastructure as well as friendly to business. Adam, why don't you maybe talk with Mr. Pauly and come up with something you think will protect our other infrastructure and make a recommendation to us. And
Be great.
I mean, Adam, it might save you time too, right? If you were able to,
If we're able to do those continual permits, yeah, and then we're not looking at a permit every time.
right?
They're moving.
yeah,
That was what we were getting in were one-time move permits. So those, technically they have to go before the board to be approved. Now we've been, like I said, we've been moving them along as quick as we can.
Well, if you guys would, and you come up with something and report it to us, we'll talk with Andrew and make sure that we're doing it legally and see if we can't improve the situation.
Appreciate it.
Okay?
Yeah, we want to be mindful of our roads, but also help business. So that's just what our present rules indicate right now.
I understand.
We will see if we can come up with a better solution if there is one.
Wonderful.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Al?
Make sure you tell Matt Old we're better.
Polly?
You might have some-
Oh, I'm sorry.
Got a news reporter up here. He'll want to talk.
Oh. Where?
Yep.
Oh,
In Zoom land.
oh, Zoom land. Okay.
No,
Yeah,
I,
Al, go ahead. Go ahead.
I,
Mr. Polly's here.
no, I'm pretty clear on what he wanted. I had questions on some of your other, I can wait until after you get done with Adam.
Okay.
Okay, if you don't need Mr. Polly, he's gonna leave now.
He's gonna leave the awesome county of Richland and have to go slum it in Erie. So
Thank you.
take care.
Hey, Al, go ahead.
Oh, I need the cost on those two construction things with the stairs, the Modern Metals and Purdy.
Okay,
Purdy is 40,300.00. Modern Metals is 28,600.00.
Okay, and that's coming from which funds then?
The capital funds, which is our Richland reinvestment.
Okay, and Garland is gonna work on which building?
4 buildings, and they're the design build, Al. There's gonna be some more expenses to that.
Child support enforcement, juvenile justice center, park building, maintenance garage. That's a $474,677 contract out.
The one that was just approved?
Garland contract, yes.
Okay. All right, that's all I need. Thank you.
it is now 10:02 and we're gonna take a 5-minute recess. We'll be back in business here at 7:07.
Texas.
No sweat. I just thought, you guys might want to rotate.
It's 10:12 and we are back in session. We've been joined by Adam Gove, engineer. And you've got a few things you want to talk to us about.
Couple things, yeah.
Yeah, go right ahead.
All right. So up first, it's that time of year to start thinking about salt for next season. Hard to believe, but we are looking to take part in the state contract again this year, so we would need that authorization to purchase salt through the state contract. We are looking to reduce the amount of tonnage that we're going to purchase through that contract. Last year, we purchased, we reserved 2,500. We purchased 90% of that, or 2,250 tons. This year, we're talking about cutting back to 2,000 tons on that state contract.
Well, that nice weather we have in February, April's trying to make up for it.
But we're sitting on quite the pile right now.
Don't jinx it. Motion to approve participation in the ODOT salt contract. Second.
Commissioner Banks,
Yes.
Commissioner Barrow, Commissioner Mears.
Second, we opened bids last week for the London West Road Bridge Replacement Project. We did have 3 bidders. The apparent low bidder is VO Menue. They had a bid of $805,902.86. Slightly more than our engineer's estimate of $795,000. So I do recommend awarding the contract to VO Menue and Son for that bridge replacement project.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Banks,
Yes.
Commissioner Barrow,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears.
Yes.
Lastly, we are going through our mowing contracts. Typically, we have 3 townships participate. One did drop out this year, so we're down to 2. Township and Plymouth Township. Contract pays the township to mow county roads within their township boundary. Sharon Township covers just over 13 miles. Plymouth Township covers about 16 and a half miles. And we pay $350 per mile. That pays for all 3 mowings that they are to perform during the summer months. I'm asking for to those contracts with Sharon and Plymouth Townships.
Approve.
Second.
Commissioner Banks,
Yes.
Commissioner Barrow,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears.
Yes.
Al,
Al, any questions?
Yeah, just a quick one for Adam. The bridge project, when is it scheduled to start and how long do you expect the project to take?
So hopefully it'll start as soon as we can get a contract signed and completed. Contract completion date is here. This bridge has been closed, coming up on a year now. It was closed last May due to its condition. So we are trying to get this going. This is actually a year ahead of schedule. This project, when it was originally programmed with ODOT for the funding, scheduled for 25. We did push on it and get it moved up a year. So we're thankful for that. But it should be complete sometime November of this year.
That's all I had. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else to come before the board? Okay, it's 10:17. We will stand in recess until 10:30. Executive session, turning discipline.
but those are.
It is 10:30. May I get a motion to go into executive session for reasons of discipline?
So moved.
Second,
Commissioner Banks.
Yes.
Commissioner Barrow.
yes.
Commissioner Mears.
Yes.
It's 10:34. We are back in session. And I guess we need a motion for a 1-day suspension for a employee at Dayspring, probationary employee.
So moved.
Second,
He's not probationary?
No.
Oh, not probationary.
Excuse me. Sorry about that.
That's
Okay.
all right.
Okay.
Commissioner Banks.
Yes.
Commissioner Barrow.
yes.
Commissioner Mears.
Yes.
Anybody out there in news media land have a question?
No, none. Thank you.
Thank you. It is 10:34 and we will adjourn for today. Back